Welcome to the Hidden Summit podcast. My name is Kevin Valance and I will be your host. On this podcast, we're going to talk about fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, and everything in between. If you find anything valuable in this episode, the only thing I'm ever going to ask you to do is subscribe so you can keep coming back and elevate your life to become better every single day. All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. I know this is a little later than normal, but I wanted to get this out there as it is a project I said I would control when I can, and this is a moment where I can control it, meaning I said with this show, with this podcast, I would post a video Monday through Friday this entire year, no matter what. This is the first test day that I've had, and I didn't want to fall short. I wanted to get in, and I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about. Reason being is because the last few days I've turned off work mode, essentially. The day-to-day has been different. I'm not in my normal routine. I'm not in my normal city. I'm not in my normal house. My food isn't normal. Everything is different. And this is a little bit of chaos that's going on internally. However, I wanted to let you know that you can still stay on track and do the things that you want to do. And if they're important to you, you're going to find a way to get them done. So I'm in Austin. I've been here for the last few days, and I was able to participate in a founders only retreat. A good friend of mine, Eric Hidman, puts these on 5 or 6 a year, where founders and CEOs of startups and small businesses come together to surround yourself in a community where you can learn from one another. And I think there is no better way to put yourself in a position to challenge yourself versus putting yourself in a room with other entrepreneurs who are driven and looking to work towards success. Now, I'm still processing everything that we went over, all the conversations that I had, the moments that I shared with these men and women at this event. And it was important for me not to just break down everything all in one video. So I'm sure I'll bring up topics that come to me as my thoughts return to me in videos up and coming. But the main thing, and I took some notes on this so I didn't get too sidetracked today, is that it's hard for me to stop working. It's hard for me to turn it off. I do enjoy the day today, and today, the final day of the event, someone came up to me, and this gentleman has a very successful business with an amazing product that's breaking barriers and bringing health and science together. So I'm excited to share more about that product soon. But he asked me, what does my day-to-day look like? And I broke it down for him, saying I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, I record a podcast, I edit it, I put it on the different platforms, I send it out. Hopefully people listen to it. After that, I'll either host a call, I'll go to the gym. After the gym, I'll have food. After food, I go into work mode, and I'm on calls for 6 or so hours, whether it be client calls or sales calls or networking calls, work calls with our team until 8 o'clock at night. And then I shut it down, eat dinner, wind down with Lacey, and go to bed by 10:30 to do it all over again the next day. And he was like, wow, that's a lot. But you seem super organized and productive with your time. And I enjoy the organization. It's hard for me to leave that organization and the day-to-day and the work things that are going on. But I purposely, and this is the next note, that's why I'm looking down, purposely put myself in these different positions where I'm not in work mode so I can be more present in the situation that I'm in. And that's something I want you to take with you. When you are doing whatever it is that you're doing, I encourage you to be fully present in that situation. So put your little distraction device, your phone down, if you're having dinner with a significant other, and be there. If you're shopping with a friend, just be there. If you're working out with a crew of people, just be there. Try not to distract yourself from where it is that you are so you can take what it is that you go through and apply those lessons and moments to lean into the things that you truly care about when you go back to work mode. And that's something that was challenging for me because there are situations in the work side of my life that need my attention right now. Based off of, I planned this trip, things happened that I needed to focus on, and then I still went on this trip. And again, those things that I needed to take care of are still in need of being taken care of. And the truth is, they will be there when I get back. I have an amazing team of people around me that are holding up what they need to do day in and day out, and I could not do this without them. But it's really hard for me to stay present. For instance, there was a session that we went through, and there was some messages I got from my team, and I wanted to actually lean into that and get on the phone right away and start putting out fires. But I didn't, and I said we can talk about this when I return. And even though the thoughts were coming into my mind during the session that I wanted to pay attention in, I was, almost meditating through the session, like ignoring the thoughts about work and trying to pay attention to what the people were saying because I knew that would benefit me. And the truth is that it did. And I can take that information back to that conversation and allow us to move in a direction of positivity and positive growth instead of just worrying about something I could not handle in that moment. The people that were here are a big part of what I find is successful about these get-togethers. I walked in knowing only a handful of these individuals. I feel like I walked away with 30 new people in my support system that I could talk to, lean on, have conversations with, ask questions, learn things from, which will ultimately help me move myself and my business and my life in a direction that I want it to grow into. Now, whatever that is for you, I would imagine that the people that are in your life, if you feel like you're being held back, may not be serving you in this moment. People come into our life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, and oftentimes we put that person in the wrong bucket and hold on to that person being in that bucket for too long, and then we feel the stress and the heartache and the headache and the chaos when we don't let go. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. But being that I was here surrounding myself with inspiring people who are dedicated to their craft, it helped me lean into what I want to do. Now, with that in mind, that's not all upside. All right. There are moments when I was in awe. There are moments where we were celebrating. There are moments when we were suffering together in workouts. There were moments where we were laughing. And there were moments where I felt imposter syndrome come on like I have never felt it in a long time. Meaning that there are so many amazing people here that I begin, and the human side of me, begin to question if I'm doing enough, if I'm doing the right thing, if what I'm doing is worth doing even. And that's really hard for me to deal with, especially when I'm not in my work routine, I'm not in my regular environment, and there are things that I want to process and act on immediately because that's how I do things. We're like, let's take action right now and we'll figure it out later. And I needed to step back and realize that life is short and problems come and go, storms come to an end, and in this moment, we are still in a good position. We as in Hidden Summit, we as in myself, and my personal life, me and Lacey and what we're doing, like we're in an amazing position. For me to be able to just be in this room is a wonderful moment. Let's not be wrapped up in the shoulda, woulda, couldas and what can be's. Let's actually take this, digest it, process it, and put it back into action when we get back into our routine, okay? Which led me to a moment where I was asked to speak in front of the whole group. And I spoke about the highs of the business and the excitement and the mistakes that we've made and the lows of the business. And they would all agree. They said and shook their heads and they understood that, they go through hard times as well. But when we persevere and push through, good things can happen. And someone told me once that entrepreneurship is a bunch of shitty moments with a couple of amazing moments sprinkled in along the way. And I don't think this life is for everybody, but to be honest, I love it. And there are a lot of things I know I need to figure out. Simply put, Lacey asked me, well, what is it that you want to do? And I have an idea of what I want to do, but it's hard for me to articulate that in the perfect way. And I think after not being able to articulate that, it's okay for me to not know what that is exactly. But I'm a firm believer in when we do the right thing, we're able to continue to move in the right direction for our lives. And then when doors and opportunities open up, we can walk through them to see if that is the path that we go down. That is how I got here, from being 300 pounds to not being 300 pounds, to dealing with the loss of my father, to leaving a career that was very lucrative for me, exiting a 10-year relationship, finding Lacey, building Hidden Summit, having a great team, shrinking that team, seeing tremendous growth, having hardships come along the way. It's never up and to the right all the way through. It's like this, but over time we can go higher and higher and higher and move ourselves to a position to reach that peak of our life and where we want to be. So last night here in Austin, we have an early flight tomorrow, so you can expect a later drop of the podcast tomorrow as well. I will record one when I get back home, talking more on this. getting more into the fitness side of things. There's a lot of cool moments that I want to share on when it comes to wherever you are in your fitness life and what you can do to push yourself to become better. And I just want to say thank you for being here. And if this helps you at all, if this hit you, resonated with you, if you can connect with this, please just hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to keep posting videos Monday through Friday, all of this year, and hopefully forever. But until then, I appreciate you. Thanks for taking a couple minutes out of your day, and I will talk to you later.